everybody! How many of you have seen anywhere on social media some post about choosing positivity, being positive, just be positive? Yeah, I've seen an increase in them too, all over my social media. And I bet now you're gonna see a lot more of them too. I absolutely love that people are trying to create better environments, but it almost feels like positivity is being forced on us. Now, make no mistake, I am all about positivity and optimism, but only when it's genuine. It's not a bad thing to be negative sometimes. Like, okay, honestly, how many times have you been told some really inspiring quote that didn't feel genuine and it didn't feel real? It honestly didn't help. It honestly felt meaningless. I've noticed that when we force positivity onto people, it tends to have the opposite effect, and that's called toxic positivity, or other people know it as dismissive positivity. Let's clarify. Let's imagine that you are extremely overwhelmed with work and it's affecting your motivation. You're feeling unmotivated, which makes you lose sight of your purpose. And that makes you feel really down about life. And I know it, we've all been there. All you can think about are all the really negative things that are happening in your life. So what do? You go to a friend and you rant. And like really think about yourself in this situation. How annoying is it for you just to rant and get everything off your chest and their response is just, think happy thoughts. Just be positive. I love that the intention is there. I love it. But just take a step back and really think for a second. If it were that simple, you wouldn't be in the situation, right? Toxic positivity can make people hesitate to express their true feelings. Being happy 100% of the time is not realistic. So then a lot of people feel really bad about feeling down. And that's so sad. Because of toxic positivity, people don't really feel as safe to express themselves because they know that those negative emotions that they're talking about, the response that they get from the people they ran to is just gonna feel the opposite of that. In my opinion, by forcing toxic positivity on someone, you unintentionally make them feel worse for not choosing happiness, as though it's so easy to just choose to be happy all the time. So what's the difference between toxic positivity and providing someone with validation, acceptance, and support? The easiest way to explain this is when you support somebody, you provide them with acceptance and validation for how they feel. You're putting yourself in their shoes. There was this cartoon, this video cartoon of animals that summed it up really well, and I can't think of the title. If I remember, I'll pop it in somewhere. If your friend is stuck in a hole, showing sympathy is gonna be you shouting down at them that everything is gonna be okay. Showing empathy or support is you going down into that hole with them. And when you're there, you help them. So think about toxic positivity is just telling someone, you'll be fine. Little chart or graphic put it together really well too. Because it's honestly, it's not how we just talk to other people, it's how we behave and talk to ourselves too. Our own self-talk. So hiding what we really feel. We've all hidden how we feel, especially when we don't want a lot of people to know. Dismissing our emotions. Okay, we've also all been told at least once to just get over it, which is the equivalent of dismissing emotions or feelings. The perspective ones I used to do a lot. Showing others different perspectives. And for an example, it's not that bad. It's when you think that by showing others that other people have worse situations than you, it'll make it a lot better. Or that their situation is a lot better than other people. It's all relative. Not everyone copes the same. Anyway, yeah, there's a bunch of these that you can find on Pinterest or Instagram. They're floating all over social media. Look it up if you're interested. See if there's anyone that you relate to or that you find yourself doing. Nothing wrong with that. All right, that pretty much sums up the differences, right? The point is, it's not possible to make someone be positive. And it's also not realistic to believe that just having positivity in your life will make all of your problems go away too. And like majority of the people out there, when we're seeking support or just to rant, we're not usually looking for positive advice. I'll actually bet that they're just looking for validation that their negative emotions and feelings are okay. Again, the positive phrases are coming from a really, really good place. I acknowledge that 100%. I mean, I've done it. I've done it for majority of my life. I firmly believe that there's nothing wrong with wanting to spread positivity and to create an environment where everybody is happy. But the problem is we're creating this false idea that being supportive equates to being positive. Oh, and I really loved this metaphor. When a flower isn't growing, you don't shout at it. You water it and you nurture it. So in reality, you nurture your loved ones with unconditional support and love. You nurture them with listening. Also, by only being positive, it's like you're dismissing the negative emotions and making people feel like they're not doing it right if they're not being positive. It's perfectly natural and almost necessary to feel negative emotions. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The more we attempt to eliminate negativity, the more pressure we put on ourselves, which then makes us feel more insecure, unsafe, and honestly unhappy. And it's wild because it's actually a negative approach to happiness. So I've also seen another chart floating around social media, but this one in particular I've seen more often. I'll put it here. Honestly, maybe you've seen it too. I think it's a really good place to start if you're attempting to change your supportive language. Oh, my favorite was number 11. Everything will get sorted by the end. Or the more popular, everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. I lived and breathed this when I was a lot younger. And as I got older, I realized how much you miss with that. I like knowing that there's a light at the end of I like knowing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but only when I get closer to that. I mean, what I mean is, what do I do now to get closer to that light of the tunnel? Light at the tunnel. Light at the end of the tunnel. I know it's not the end, because I'm not at the light, but what can I do to get things sorted now so I can get there? And I guess that just comes back to the example of like, I hear you, I really appreciate the attempt, but it doesn't really fix right now. Ooh, number 3, positive vibes only. I've seen this one the most, even on like pillows at Marshall's. But honestly, I mean, all jokes aside, I really think that all of these responses are really great, and by changing the way that you talk to people, you're gonna get through to them a lot more by using phrases like that. Especially if your intent is to help them grow rather than to just get over a situation. So, just remember that being negative does not make you a bad person. Also, being positive and trying to bring positivity to other people doesn't make you a bad person either. Being negative does not mean that you are weak, and also being positive doesn't always mean that you're strong. It doesn't define you. It isn't the one thing that defines you, it's just part of it. Just because you feel like you're negative, it doesn't mean that you're being weak, and it doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. If you're feeling down, accept it, embrace it. And remember that the feeling will pass, but just let it pass naturally. If you try to fight it, you're never gonna heal, and then you're gonna be stuck in this cycle of fighting negativity rather than actually learning from it. So from this, try to examine how you talk to others and how others talk to you. Spreading positivity is not the issue. It's all about the way you do it and the standards that you unintentionally put on other people who are not in the same place as you. So yeah. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to hear about it. This video, like all the others, are just meant to open a discussion. It's not meant to be a huge argument because everybody experiences different things, everyone copes in different ways. It's all relative. We're just trying to start a discussion about it. As always, subscribe if you'd like. If not, feel free to follow me on Instagram. My handle is Intricate. Otherwise, I'll see you at the next one. Thank you. Bye.